It had been a stupid idea from the get-go. Maddie had been pushed into it after the latest run-in with her ex Percy had left her downhearted. "Get out of the house," her sisters had said. "We signed you up for it. Go. It'll be fun," they had said. Yeah, well, it was easy enough for them. They didn't have any trouble. No, none at all. But she found it hard to deny her older sisters anything. So that was why she found herself prepping for a brutal night of speed dating. The cabbie had let her out in front of a slightly shabby bar. A chalkboard sign sat out the front, advertising the night's special event. Dating for deities. Ha! More like dating for dropkicks. She knew she shouldn't have come. It was ridiculous. The social circles that she and her sisters inhabited weren't small, but Maddie's reputation clearly preceded her. She moved from table to table. Not a single person would meet her eyes, which was ridiculous. It was 2020 for goddess's sake. Her eye problem had been solved long ago with the invention of prescription lenses. And conversation-wise, it wasn't great either. For the most part, all she got was a few short, clipped sentences. The others tended to just talk over her as if she wasn't even there. She was at her wit's end by the time it got to the last round. Just like the three before him, her second to last date hadn't stopped going on and on, all about his previous conquests. At the chiming bell that signified time was up, she downed the remains of her fourth Santorini sunrise, and with a tight smile said her farewells. She contemplated just leaving then and there, but thought it might be a bit too mean to leave someone sitting in this ridiculous place alone. Her thoughts were raging as she made her way across the room. These people are nothing but idiotic Greek preeners and brain-dead siren Barbies. The thought stopped dead as she looked down at her last date of the night. He was gorgeous. A floppy mane of shoulder-length blonde hair, the beginnings of a scruffy beard, a kind face, definitely a ripped body, hidden under a slightly too large shirt. Yum. The only thing that irked her were the sunglasses the man wore. What kind of a douchebag wears sunglasses inside? His name tag read Adam, and although he looked fantastic, she was well aware of how deceiving first looks could be. Making sure her head wrap was in place, she subtly primped as she sat down. Before she could say a word, he spoke. "I have a confession. I think I'm in the wrong place." "What?" He looked up at him in confusion. He leant in, like he had some earth-shattering secret he couldn't share with anyone but her. "I mean, my younger sister signed me up for speed dating, and I thought, hey, why not? But I think the cabbie took a wrong turn and dropped me off at the wrong event because everyone has been talking about being gods and sirens and harpies, and for God's sakes, I have no clue what's going on." He took a deep breath and ran his hand through his hair. Maddie sat stunned in her seat. He was human. A human! At a supernatural dating event. She just had to laugh at her luck. Taking a risk, she grabbed his hand and gave it a light squeeze. "Look, don't worry. Those guys, they're a little crazy. Just tell me about yourself. What do you do? What are you into?" Adam visibly relaxed. Maddie grabbed a couple drinks off one of the waiters circling the room. She pressed one into his hands and took a large gulp out of the other as he proceeded to tell her about himself. "Well, I'm Adam. I'm 31. I enjoy long walks on the beach and talking to pretty girls." He flashed her a cheesy grin. Maddie let out a slightly tipsy giggle. "No, I work down at the zoo, taking care of animals. Well, if I'm being honest, I help look after the snake enclosure. I just really have a thing for snakes, I guess. Always have. Ever since I was a little kid." He paused. "And now's the part where you go, ew, really? Why snakes?" "Oh no way. I dig snakes." Her hand unconsciously moved to her head, patting down, smoothing the invisible wrinkles. "Really?" "Absolutely. No, seriously, I think snakes are great. She gave his hand another squeeze and felt a thrill run through her as he returned the gesture. Oh, and I'm blind. Pulled off the sunglasses. Maddie let out a small gasp, flinching slightly. Years of ingrained fear causing her to avert her eyes. Guilt now coursed through her at her douchebag thought. She took another gulp from her glass. Yeah, when I say my sister signed me up for blind speed dating, I really meant it. Nearly snorting half of her drink all over the table, Maddie threw her head back, bursting into full-blown laughter. Adam followed suit, his gravelly laugh soothing her nerves. When they finally had calmed down, he continued. So anyway, enough about me. Tell me about yourself. What's your name again? Maddie? Maddie, actually. I know, it's strange. Adam cocked his head, a playful smile on his lips. No, I like it. It is unusual, though. Is it a nickname? What's it short for? A little hiss could be heard from above Maddie's head, and she reached up to pull the scarf from her head. With a quick shake, she let her hair free. Medusa. It's short for Medusa. She watched as he stilled, seeing in the tilt of his head and the furrow of his brow that he was doing the math. They sat there for a moment, Maddie growing more and more worried that she had pushed him too far. After all, even the humans had heard the stories. Relief coursed through her as, after a few seconds, a brilliant grin lit up his face. It's like I told you before, he said. I do love snakes.